So today I'm going to talk about how you know you've healed or you've healed from certain things on your journey, that you're getting ready to level up. So this is all based on my own experiences, and one of the things I see a lot of women on like groups that I'm part of, they struggle with this, and that's like knowing when to take your dignity and go, and not settle for a situationship, and to find that love within yourself to just pick up and move forward, even if that means you're alone for an unknown amount of time. And I understand, like, some people have reasons for staying in relationships where they feel like they're not being fulfilled. Like, a lot of people have kids and, like, bills to pay. But honestly, for me personally, I've never been able to maintain a situationship or a relationship with a man, or even, like, friends, family members even, and that was always hard. Excuse me, I'm clearing, I guess. I've never been able to maintain a relationship with somebody that wasn't in alignment. Like, you always end up hurting yourself. Always. You always end up feeling like something's not right. And listen, like, we could be in a healthy relationship and be triggered because there's things to heal. Like, don't get it twisted. But I think the difference is just, like, the clarity that each of them is going to come with some type of clarity. And it's up to you to get to that precipice of self-love and self-respect so you can master discernment. I'm going to talk about this, like, discernment probably forever because it's such a big deal. That was, like, the key component to me coming into, like, realizing all of these things. Was, like, after so long being gaslighted by, like, people around me. Because I'm different from a lot of people. Like, that's why I spend a lot of time alone. Like, I feel like I just see through a lot of things. And I see things that to me are blatantly obvious, and to other people it's like they don't see it, or they don't want to see it, or I don't know. It's surprising. So, the landscapers are like doing their thing. Sorry, didn't know, but the show must go on. So anyway, like, I'm gonna use myself as an example, and I do want to make it clear, like, this is no shade whatsoever to the people involved in this scenario. Let's just put it that way. Like, nothing but love, and, like, I wish this person the best. I'm gonna start there. Now we start. And yeah. So well, the end of last year, I met somebody, and I really hadn't dated in a very long time. Like, I still haven't really dated in a really long time, and I don't really date multiple people at once. I'm just very intentional about that because I feel like I know what I want out of a connection. I want to be married. I want to find my life partner. So I want to give people, like, a real chance. And I feel like I've reached a level of emotional availability where I'm able to do that. I've always kind of been this way anyway. Like, I'm not a serial dater. I might have tried it at least once in my life, but it wasn't, like, I don't know. It wasn't really, it was a fleeting thing, let's put it that way. And I don't do apps, nothing. So basically I met somebody, and they definitely were not, like, my usual type. And I was like, whatever, because I still liked their vibe, but there were things that I noticed, like, during the time that I was around them during the first meeting that I was like, like, this might be a red flag, but I was like, but I don't know this person, like, very well, so, like, I'm just gonna see, like, how it plays out. And I'm gonna tell you guys, like, tips and tricks, because these things matter. Like, when you first start talking to somebody, like, even though, like, social media, look at people's social media. Look at a man's social media. What kind of women is he following? Or what kind of people is he following? Because if it's all women that are, like, porn stars and half naked and this and that, girl, that's not, if you want something serious, he's not going to give that to you. It's just the facts. Like, if you want somebody that just, like, wants to find their woman and is about that one woman who is their woman, men like that, they're not gonna be out here following, like, all these, like, Instagram models and, like, all this extra shit. Like, they're just not. Like, high value men, they don't do that shit. They don't jeopardize their own, they just don't jeopardize, like, their reputation by, like, I mean, they can have women who are friends. They may have women who are friends, people that speak highly of them. But they don't jeopardize, like, their reputation by, like, associations with certain people, things, images. Yeah. So anyway, I met that man and was giving him a chance. We exchanged, like, information where we met, and then I think it was, like, a few weeks later, like, he hit me up about something, and then we got to talking, and it was, like, Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas. It was something like that. And I was just like, you know, like, I'm not gonna, like, entertain this, like, too much. Not even because I don't care, but it was just because, like, I've learned from past mistakes, like, I'm not giving too much too soon. And it's not that I'm trying to play games or, like, whatever. It's just, like, you gotta just see, like, you gotta see how things play out. Like, you can't be, like, giving and not letting yourself receive. And also, you gotta feel things out. Like, you know what I mean? And I am not begging people to love me anymore. Like, I'm just not that person. Like, I'm not chasing something that's not meant for me if it's not meant for me. And I don't have to chase things that are meant for me anyway. They'll just align with me. I just saw 818. So, whatever. And, like, we had texted, like, all day, maybe into the night. Then I finally was like, I also am kind of at the point where I'm like, in the beginning, like, after it's, like, a certain time at night, I'm like, I'm just probably not gonna text you after, like, 12 a.m. Like, I just probably won't. Also, like, I've started going to bed earlier. I've decentered men from my life because I just have, like, other priorities. And, like, if someone proves to me that they want to be, like, front and center, like, the man in my life, that's one thing. But even then, it's like, you're top equal with, like, my businesses. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still, like, those things are still important to me. So I was doing, the next day, I was, like, recording, I think, a video and just chilling, honestly, because I had been just under stress, just so much stress, from where I was working at the time. Like, it was just, I don't know, this was before I made the big leap a few months ago. And so, all of a sudden, he just, like, stopped texting me. So I was like, okay. Like, I guess because I hadn't texted him in, like, hours But I did text back. And then, like, I didn't hear from him. It was something like that. So I was just like, okay, so, like, and this was before, like, I think this was before he had established, like, actual interest. So, I don't know. I don't even remember. But then I was just like, whatever, like, it is what it is. And then I was just like, I'm not gonna press it. So then, a couple months later, I actually, and I swear, like, this was the reason why, like, I had met somebody who was like, oh, like, you should find out, like, how I recommend, like, this area. You should find out, like, how markets are over there, like, and maybe bring your stuff over there, because I had gotten to talking to this person about my spiritual business. And so I ended up hitting him up because he happened to live in that area. And I never, to this day, I never actually got to ask. But we started talking, like, more consistently, and he, like, hit me up every day. But the problem wasn't that he hit me up every day. And, like, I probably should have just laid it out anyway. But I also feel like there's just certain things that when you're a man's, like, dream girl, he's not gonna leave space to fumble that. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna make excuses. And this was the other thing. I'll get into it. But anyway, so at one point, like, I started kind of pulling back a little bit because I had noticed, like, you know, this man is not really, like, texting me very much. Like, he never offered to call me, like, just, like, and we were, like, supposed to start planning to go out on a date. And I'm like, he's not, and, like, I know some people are not good at texting, but I still was like, still, like, because one of my big love languages is words of affirmation. So if we're not communicating, I'm not saying you have to hit me up every second of every day. I'm not saying that. But it would be like hours would go by and this man would not text me back. And I was just like, but he would be, like, looking at my stories or, like, online. And I would just be like, what the fuck? So finally, I guess he, like, picked up on the fact that, like, he wasn't really showing up. So he finally explained, like, whatever he was kind of going on, but not really explaining what was going on. And I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. But, like, in my mind, like, and hopefully this wasn't a projection, but I just kept feeling like there's, like, some unfinished business that this man has with another woman. Like, I just was like, just from experience, and also, like, my intuition was like, So I was like, okay, like, he explained, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Fine, whatever. So I'm expecting, okay, like, he's gonna hit me up tomorrow, like, whatever. Like, I also wasn't trying to lay things on too thick because we hadn't actually gone out on a date yet. And so you would think that he would be on my ass the next day, right? If he's really trying to, like, go out with me. No. That didn't happen at all. He went 24 hours without texting me at all. And then that was when I was just like, okay, like, I started getting anxiety. I started feeling like, literally, like, this has happened to me before, and it's fine. Like, if I'm not your dream girl, if I'm not your girl, like, that's fine. That's totally fine. Like, but I'm clocking out of the situation. I'm taking my little punch card, putting it through the slot one final time, and I'm clocking the fuck out. So that's what I did. Like, I just pulled back because I'm really, like, no. So, and I'm, whatever, I'm not gonna beg. So then, after 24 hours, what do you know? Who slides in my messages? And then I just didn't answer because I was like, no, like, I'm just not doing this. I'm just not And by that point, I was just like, I felt emotionally unsafe about everything. And was like, okay, so first of all, like, listen, this is where it breaks down to something deeper. It's like, and I also do know something personal about this person that, like, could cause them to have, like, a wounded feminine aspect to themselves, which by extension would, like, create the space for emotional unavailability that this seemed to be turning into. And so I was just like, okay, like, I know that, like, so whatever. But it's also like, when we have a wounded masculine or a wounded feminine, it's gonna create a big imbalance in us, because, like, we kind of need to, it's like a little dance of, like, trying to constantly create harmony between our masculine and feminine. But it's like, if a man has a wounded feminine, he is not going to be emotionally available enough to show up in his masculine presence to create that emotional safety for a woman, because he doesn't even have that shit himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's also not able to emotionally regulate in a way that, like a proper masculine man is able to yet. And so that's what kind of where my head was at in all this at that point. And this situation still taught me a lot, although it was fleeting and brief. Like, I kind of, like, I think he had double or triple texted me. So finally I was like, because I was also thinking about, like, how I wanted to approach this, and I ended up going with a watered down version of how I really felt. And just kind of made it about that I was focused on work, which wasn't a lie. Like, it wasn't a lie. I am very focused on my businesses right now. But I was also just like, I wasn't ready to have that uncomfortable conversation in case, like, I had to see him again, like, in a business setting. I'm seeing a black butterfly. Oh my God. And so then after this, months go by. Then all of a sudden, he's watching my stories on Instagram, and I'm like, okay. And I'm intuitively picking up that, like, something's about to go down. Like, I just could feel it. And so I bought aquamarine crystals because, like, Spirit kept telling me for weeks, and you'll probably see me vaguely allude to this in a video I'm gonna post soon. But anyway, so Spirit kept telling me, like, buy this aquamarine. So I do have an aquamarine in my car that I've been keeping close, and I have this aquamarine pendant that I've been keeping around my neck within 30 minutes. And Spirit had been telling me for like 3 months to get this aquamarine. And within 30 minutes, this man slid in my DMs. I'm not even kidding. Like, and then I looked up aquamarine, and it helps with, like, clarity, communication, love even. I didn't even know that. So I'm over here thinking to myself, like, did I, like, I don't know. But anyway, so I was, like, kind of freaking out and panicking by this point because he had asked for a reading, and I was like, I have to come clean. Like, I have to come clean. Like, I also felt some type of way because I felt like he was using my gifts, like, access to my gifts, one, for me to be his healer, and I've just dealt with too many men like this in the past, and I was just like, I can't do this. He was using that as a segue to try to, like, basically, like, using it as an excuse to, like, bridge the gap between, like, like needing emotional intimacy and not knowing how to ask for it. Whether it was like because he was afraid of being rejected or because of like mother wounds or whatever it was exactly, like I just felt some type of way about that. I was just like, okay, so you're being halfway like vulnerable with me. And and God forgive me if I'm wrong, but I genuinely truly felt that like this was his way of like trying to explain to me like where he was at emotionally, and not being brave enough to being like, can I just call you and talk to you and like set the record straight and we can continue from there. And I was just like, after that, I was just like, I don't know, like I finally came clean. I finally came clean to him, and I just said how I felt. I told him like, you know, I just felt like I should have been more direct, and that I didn't know if I really wanted to continue a friendship. Because I also just feel like you know, I am very innocent and naive sometimes. I just saw 2112. I can be very innocent and naive sometimes when it comes to these things. Like, when I even first met this man, like, I didn't even know that, like, he was into me. Like, I thought I caught a vibe for a second, but then I was just like, nah. You know, like, I literally, like, I didn't realize. And I just feel like most men, they not trying to be your friend. They just not trying to be your friend. And it's okay. Like, to be honest, I'm an Aries, so I'm ruled by Mars. That's a very masculine sign. I do have some male friends. I do. And they are genuinely just my friend. Like, I'm capable of that because that's who I am as a person. But there are some people every once in a while that come along, and I will purposely be their friend if they want to be my friend, because I just would fuck the shit out of them. Like, I can't believe I'm telling you guys this. And I'm like, I just understand, I guess. I don't think I think like a man, but I think also with the work that I do, like the energy work I do, it's easy for me to put myself in like the feelings of like women and men, and like those energies more easily, and like empathize with them and just understand better like how they think, how they function, how they operate, like what their motivations are. And like, to me, I feel like most of the time, if I know a man wanted something romantic with me, whether it was like casual or not, I just feel like I'm gonna be uncomfortable the whole time thereafter, like having to constantly feel like I need to be setting boundaries, like I have to like tiptoe around how I say things, about that I can't be nice because or too nice because I don't want to come off as flirty. And like, no. And sometimes I feel like I say, like people need my healing, and I've just had so many cycles with men that like really, really, really broke my heart. Really broke my heart in the past. Like, to the point where I couldn't get over that shit for like years, bro. I felt like I lost myself, like I was settling for less. I was just putting up with too much shit. And like, you know what? I never regret any situation I had, because like the person probably really needed the healing at the time, but now I am of the awareness that like it's not up to me to like be a rehab center like to these men. Like, you have to go out the way I went out there and find like your own healing, and go on that journey, and like go to therapy if you need to go to therapy, or sign up for courses, or read like self-evolution books, or be open to like taking accountability. Like, you've got to do that for yourself. And I kind of felt like it was like the same thing with this. It was just like, I don't want to be the woman that you look at as your healer, and by extension somebody who acts as a placeholder for like the mother because of whatever mother wounds you have. Like, I just didn't want to sign up for that role again. Like, and we ended things very amicably, so that was good. I still laid in my bed and felt some type of way for a little bit, though. I'm not gonna lie. I actually had to do an event that this person also did recently, so I was like honestly panicking the whole time because I was like, what if I feel awkward? Like, what if I have to talk to this person? Like, what? Truthfully, I was like, just, I felt some type of way. But you know what? Like, I grew through that. I spoke my truth. He received it well, so I was actually very thankful that that's how it played out, and that I am attracting men that are at least nice to me now and like take accountability. So that was nice. And then I don't know guys, I just, even when like, you know, like, I feel like on my journey anyway, when I meet somebody that like stands out to me, even if it's just gonna be like a karmic, I still care about people. Like, I still feel deeply about people. Like, I'm not saying like I was in love with him. No, I was not like in love with him in that sense. No. But it's like, you know, when you have had a moment with somebody like in a past life, like that energy is just there. Like, if the moment I met this person, I was like, I told him too, like, I knew we were gonna be friends. Like, I knew it. I did. I just knew, like, this person, when I meet somebody that's significant, it doesn't have to be romantic either. Like, this person, I get like a certain tug. Also, like, oh my god, this is so important. I left this out. Like, there were certain moments, like, before I like cut it off, like the first time, the watered down way, that I was like laying in my bed, like overthinking about the situation, just not, like I said, not really feeling like spiritually sound about any of this. But like, I had never experienced this. Like, I went through like a heart chakra purge. I literally, one night, I was like listening to my record player and laying in bed, and I literally felt like, through like the emotions I was processing, like a knot like undo itself in my heart chakra center. Like, it was the craziest thing I had ever felt. And like, I've, you know, I think through experience, like, I've realized, like, just because somebody is meant to activate something in you doesn't mean that you're supposed to be with them or be with them forever, or, excuse me, have more than just like a season with them. But I still have my moments, and I think that's why, like, I've still been getting little tests here and there. I still have my moments of like, where I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you 100% sure? But it's also like, at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself, even if you're not 100% sure in the moment, whatever's meant for me is going to be for me. And I also knew the conditions in which I would have let somebody like make it up to me, and he wasn't doing that. And that's important. You have to look at what people are doing and what they're not doing, and what they're saying and what they're not doing and what they're not saying. And you got to look at all of it. You know, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, even though there are definitely many layers to it. But also, I will leave you with one last thing. And this actually came out in one of my pick-a cards recently. If you are in a situationship, like, I'm gonna hurt your feelings for a second, but it's because I love you and I just want you to, like, stand in your power. Like, if you're in a situationship, you're being used. You're being used. And I'm not saying this about this situation either, but, you know, and it doesn't have to be for money. It doesn't have to be for sex. It could be for validation. It could be because this person is codependent. Like, it could be because somebody does see how dope you are, and maybe you're settling for crumbs because you haven't realized that yet. That's happened to me in the past. Like, whatever it is, like, you gotta see shit for what it is and just keep it pushing. For real. Because if you don't have boundaries, like, wounded people don't have any either. When they're trying to feel better, when they're trying to plug in the emptiness that they have. Because this is like, it's like, you know what, it's survival. Like, when people are still in that state, it's survival. When you're in survival mode, like, some people have that human instinct in them so inherently that, because they haven't like cultivated the spiritual awareness yet and like integrated all of that, that they will do anything to soothe that, like self-soothe, but they outsource. And sometimes we be thrown in the middle of that, but you don't have to allow it. That's what the thing of it is. Like, you don't have to allow it. You always hold the power to not allow that, to not be like a doormat. And like, yes, maybe the person doesn't mean it because they're wounded, and they, you know, maybe the person isn't a bad person. Maybe they do have your best interest at heart. But even with that being said, it's like, they would honestly, if someone really truly saw shit for what it was or was meant for you, they would walk away from you because they understand that they couldn't give you what you need. If they were on that level, if you're really caring about somebody that much and giving to them so openly, like, and not understanding why you're not being met with that, it's because you've at least gotten to some level of like heightened emotional awareness that this person, like I said, has just not found yet. And I always take the little lessons, and that was, for this situation, my little lesson, I think I even said it, like, my lesson was to just remember to trust myself. And I think Spirit was also testing to see if, like, you know, are you gonna reopen that door again? Are you gonna keep going back and forth? Because I've had situations in the past where I would continue going in cycles with people, and like, I would have made excuses, and I would have not spoken my truth just to keep the peace and like avoid the awkwardness that comes with it. And you know what? The day that I had to do that event and that person was also at, I literally was like panicking so much because I just felt so uncomfortable. I prayed. And this person's not even like a terrible person, by the way. Like, but I prayed to Spirit, like, please don't make me go through this. Like, I don't want to go through this. Like, I just want to like do my thing and like get out. And literally, when I was at that event, they had a crow land on my tent, on it, not like, you know, near it or whatever, or just showed me no, on it. And it was in that moment that I was like, yo, Spirit's got my back. They're like, you're good. Like, you learned what you needed to learn. You stood in your power. You did it anyway. Even if you were like uncomfortable and maybe afraid to be here, like, you didn't let somebody like get in the way of like a big manifestation. So I think that was a big part of it. And also for me to show myself just like how far I've come really with like setting boundaries, even when it's hard, and even when, you know, of course, like, we want somebody to be for us, and like, it is definitely a disappointment. Like, I did actually struggle with that a little bit recently, because just like coming to the acceptance of like another person, that they're not for me, and like, when really I just genuinely want to find my person, but it's not in my timing. Like, it's in divine timing. Like, I mean, it's kind of both, but it all kind of like it's all kind of entangled in a way. So maybe I brought it closer by saying no to what wasn't meant for me. But yeah, like, I'm telling you, the level of like emotional unrest that you feel from not being with somebody that's in alignment with you, like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I've been alone for a while now. I've been alone without really like dating for like 5 years. And truthfully, like, yeah, I've had my moments where it gets lonely, but I feel like I'm in such a good place now in my life. Like, I'm meeting great people now, and I'm thankful for that, because a lot of seasons were lonely for me. But I'm just in that place now where it's like I'm good, man. Like, I'm focusing on what I need to focus on. There's still other things that I really want to like implement in my own life for my own routines and stuff, and I'll get there. You know, you got to just take it day by day and do what you got to do, and then map it out and execute it when it's time, and or when, you know, make space for the things that are important to you and are good for you. And that's just where I'm at now. Like, you know, I'm not gonna fall into something that I have to force, and know that at the end of the day, like, because I've been on the other side of the coin too, where it's like I was in a relationship that I still knew I shouldn't have been in, and like I was just not, I wasn't satisfied. Like, I wasn't satisfied. Something just kept feeling like out of alignment, like no matter what. And it was like sometimes it just comes down to like compatibility, and like honoring that, and honoring your vision, and understanding that it's just not going to be compatible with other people sometimes, and what's best and the highest good, and like letting go with love like requires you to just accept and acknowledge that. And you don't have to point the blame on anybody either. Like, obviously I use the situation as an example to become a teachable moment, but at the end of the day, like I said before, like I genuinely am like thankful for like meeting this person, even for like this, you know, the small like interaction that we actually like had. To me, that was a big deal, because it helped me out. And I hope that, you know, I helped them learn something too. But yeah, so until next time, my loves, that was a little story time and something that was trying to burst out of me. So love you, and don't settle for less. Bye.